Carried away in the message, the blood of Jesus over your family. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. It is Monday, March 30th, 2020, the penultimate day of the third month of 2020. Hope everybody had a peaceful weekend. So most people supposed to be well rested because we are all under lockdown. So you're supposed to have been home, resting, relaxing, and getting some quality time with your feet up. So everybody's supposed to be well rested this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning to the Sister Isles, Carriacou, PT Martinique. Good morning to the mainland, Grenada. Good morning to all the little islands around that make up the state, I should say. Calvini Island, Hog Island, Sandy Island. It have more Ron Island. It have more. All the islands about the place. Good morning, everybody. Grenadians in the diaspora. Good morning. Hugs and kisses from across the miles. Good morning to all the folks joining us across the Caribbean. Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Antigua, Anguilla, Dominica, Barbados, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Bermuda, St. Kitts, St. Bart's, Montserrat. Venezuela, Guyana. Where I'm missing people. Let me see where I'm missing. I see St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, Anguilla. I think I hail up everybody this morning, man. Hey, watching Cuba. I didn't hail up Cuba. Good morning, Cuba. Good morning to all our brothers and sisters internationally. US, UK, Switzerland, Sweden, Canada, Timbuktu, Japan, North and South Korea, China, Australia, Germany, Brazil, Belgium, North Pole, Antarctica. Good morning, everybody, whichever part of the world you are. Hopefully, I'm going to make you smile just a little bit this morning with my greetings. Hope everybody is okay. We are all healthy. Most of us are in the land of the living, and hopefully, we're going to have a good day today. Yep. It is the 30th of March, 2020. As I said before, this morning we're going to skip the word of the day and thought of the day and what is celebrated today. As we've been saying over the past few weeks, it is not business as usual. So this morning we're going to skip the usual business and get straight into the meat of the matter, some issues of national urgency and importance. So we're going to skip those things this morning. As announced over the weekend by Minister of Health Nicholas Steele, Grenada has recorded 9 confirmed cases of COVID-19 up until, I would say, this morning, because we haven't had an announcement as yet. So for now, we're going to say we have 9 confirmed cases as of 6:39 a.m. The first case was announced last week, Sunday. Subsequently, 6 additional cases were announced last Thursday. And on Saturday, Minister of Health Nicholas Steele announced 2 more cases, bringing the total to 9 in the Spice Isle. He followed up that national address with another national address yesterday, Sunday, announcing some more regulations on the Grenada's limited state of emergency, which basically speaks of mandatory curfew, which takes effect from 7 p.m. tonight. So from tonight, there should be nobody on the road except essential workers. And that has basically arisen because Grenadians had just had plain talk bad manners. Personally, I feel like when the regulations were put into effect last week, Wednesday, by the Governor General, Dame Cecile Lagrenade, when the limited state of emergency took effect, it was a test to see if Grenadians could follow some simple instructions. And we failed. We failed. And I say that because if we were doing what we needed to do and follow the regulations that were stipulated last week, there wouldn't have been the need for the officials to step up on the regulations and ensure that everybody stay where they should stay. So if we were following instructions, right now it's a case of Peter pay for Paul and Paul pay for all. And we are all paying for what I would basically call, not just me alone, the Minister of Health has said it, stupidity. What's so hard about staying in your homes? I don't understand. This is not a drill. This is not normal times. We have been preaching about staying in your homes, and we still have people going out and having basically fetes. Just over the weekend, I understand members of the RGPF had to break up a beach lime on Hog Island. Like, Hog Island would still be there when this is over. What's the rush? Like, we need to take this seriously. I don't understand what Grenadians need anymore. The COVID-19 is not a respecter of persons. There are princesses who have died from the virus. Princesses who are locked up in their castles have been inflicted with the virus and have passed away. Members of the royal family, Prince Charles in his 70-something, 80-year-old, has the virus. Just yesterday was announced that one of the cases in St. Lucia, I believe it is, it's a 10-month-old baby. The U.S. reported their first toddler death, an infant less than a year old. So it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your status in society. When COVID gets a chance, it's problems in the dance. If we stay home, COVID needs us to spread it. So if we pick it up here, it needs us to bring it in Grenville. If we stay here, we can't bring it in Grenville. COVID has nowhere to go. COVID going to go, but it's business. But we continue to move unnecessarily and just doing things as though this is fet time and quarantine means vacation and party mode. That's not what it means. It means stay put. And I noticed the minister's frustration and annoyance in his two addresses on Saturday and Sunday. He wasn't the normal Minister Steele that I've seen in post-cabinet briefing that comes and tells you the facts and then goes. You could see his frustration because we hit hard. And I don't know why. Get all your troops and get at home. Curfew tonight because all you hit hard. You can't walk, you can't exercise, you can't go not a place, except if you're an essential worker, like me so. Other than that, stay home. All you had. When we give all you a mile, all you taking 10 yards. Get all your troops. All right, let me see before we go to, yes, I had to rant because it was on my mind and annoying. Let me see, there are a few things that I wanted to, this morning I want to send big kudos to our soca artists. Over the weekend, I noticed a number of them have been spreading the message of staying home. A number of them have made posts on their social media pages, and I think it was important because a number of our young people especially look up to these soca artists and want to emulate and follow in their footsteps. And with a message like that coming from what I call our local celebrities, I think it will go a long way. So soca artists, or artists I should say, pick up all your whole selves. I saw posts from Boise, Dash, Lil Natty, Mandela Links, Mushman, Mr. Legs, and I'm sure there were others. So continue doing what you all are doing to help us spread the message of the importance of staying home and staying put as we continue to fight COVID-19. Big up all your whole self. What else? Internationally, there have been reports of increased domestic and sexual abuse at home as the world is under quarantine. A number of our victims are stuck at home and other places with their abusers. And that reminded me that could occur here in the Isle of Spice as we are under limited state of emergency. I was tagged in a post yesterday that I thought I should share with the rest of you. The call to report sexual abuse, it is still up and running. We are under quarantine, but abuse does not go away. It is not quarantine in itself. So if you know of an instance of sexual abuse, you're asked to call 400. That's the number, 400-400, to report sexual abuse, whether it's adults or children. Let's continue to do our part to ensure that this stigma is eradicated from our shores. We are quarantined at home, so remember our victims who cannot leave their not safe place, I'd put it gently. So let's remember them. If you know of an instance of sexual abuse taking place, just call the number 400. On that note, let's get ready for the news. Those of you on radio, we bring you the morning edition of news. This is Good Morning Grenada on Classic and GBN. Keep it locked right here.
The following is a COVID-19 update statement by Minister for Health, Social Security and International Business, the Honorable Nicholas Steele.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Today, Saturday, March 28th, 2020, I announced that 2 more laboratory confirmed cases of COVID-19 on mainland Grenada have been diagnosed. This brings the total confirmed cases of COVID-19 to 9. Of that number, 1 is an imported case, and the other is likely an import-related case with relatives who were visiting from New York. The new cases are as follows. A 72-year-old female who started experiencing symptoms on March 20th and was tested on March 25th. Since the onset of her symptoms, she has been under the care of a doctor. Healthcare officials are aggressively investigating so as to determine the exact point of contact, as well as potentially mass exposure. Given that the relatives arrived on a flight from New York on March 17th. Again, just to stress, we do not yet know the exact point of contact for the particular case, but we are operating under the assumption that all of the foregoing are real possibilities, just to be safe. We are taking no chances. Once that information is available, we will inform the public. The second case is a 50-year-old male who was on the same flight from the United Kingdom on March 16th, sitting within a 6-foot radius of our first confirmed case, and several of the other cases that were confirmed 2 days ago on March 26th. Both individuals, as well as the other cases previously announced, are all exhibiting mild to moderate symptoms. In terms of testing, 9 people have tested positive so far and 35 negative, with none pending as of this announcement tonight. But with the developments now, we anticipate that this will change overnight. The pending cases are all under surveillance so as to contain further spread of the disease. Our testing included people who have been found through contact tracing, as well as people who had ailments such as respiratory issues. With increasing numbers of cases, CARFA has been working with us and the rest of the region to deliver results in as timely a manner as possible. This is why, now that numbers are increasing, our healthcare team is sparing no effort in contact tracing to determine points of contact, as well as to ascertain the possibility of community spread. In terms of quarantine and isolation measures, we continue to rigorously enforce those. Several entire households are presently under quarantine, and we have asked the RGPF to further tighten their surveillance mechanisms to rigidly ensure that people are observing the rules. We remain vigilant. Our medical team, led by our infectious disease specialist, Dr. Sean Charles, has been working tirelessly on actively following up with contact tracing since our first case, and even more so after our next 6 cases were confirmed 2 days ago. Health officials have already moved to isolate and monitor several others who were in close contact with any of the cases. This will continue for the next 14 days at least. All our confirmed cases are being reported to the World Health Organization and Pan American Health Organization. I urge the public to report or inform the Ministry of Health or nearest health facility of any possible or suspected individual displaying acute respiratory symptoms at this time. If you believe you are exhibiting symptoms of the virus, do not leave your house. Do not take public transportation. Call the health hotline at 538-4787 or 458-4787. In closing, as the Minister of Health, I must emphasize again that the entire population must continue to rigidly observe the practices and precautions necessary to contain the spread of COVID-19 here in the state of Grenada. A limited state of emergency is in place to safeguard the population from further spread of this disease. Failure to comply with those measures is potentially fatal to the general population. Let me repeat, failure to comply with those measures is potentially fatal to the general population. For every one person who contracts the disease, potentially dozens more are exposed and vulnerable. Do the maths. Be your brother's keeper, because your actions can potentially have life and death consequences for someone else. I again urge you to wash your hands frequently, practice proper cough and sneeze hygiene. Do not touch your eyes, nose, or mouth with unclean hands. It is extremely critical that you also maintain social distancing of at least 6 feet. I cannot stress that enough. Those are simple measures you can take daily to do your part to curb the spread of COVID-19. Thank you, good night, and may God bless us all.
The preceding was a COVID-19 update statement by Minister for Health, Social Security and International Business, the Honorable Nicholas Steele.
Back. I'm Tony Julian with the details for the week in review for that week ending March the 20th. I'm Tony Julian again. And we begin with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, who's declared a limited state of emergency to combat the possible community spread of COVID-19 in the state of Grenada. The 21-day state of emergency takes effect from 6 p.m. on Wednesday. It'll be in effect from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m., or it had taken effect then. But let's get more details in this report.
Incomprehensible behavior of some Grenadians is justified for the reasons Grenadians are now under a limited state of emergency. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell on Wednesday delivered a national address outlining stringent measures aimed at preventing community spread of COVID-19.
If we fail to give effect to the serious steps required to contain, curtail, identify, and isolate this virus, Grenada will pay a significant price. Moreover, many are using this crisis as an opportunity to play politics or to peddle rumors, thus causing unnecessary fear and panic among the population. Sisters and brothers, fellow Grenadians, Caraconians, P.T. Martinicans all, this is not the time. There are no heroes in war, and make no mistake, this is indeed a war, and the enemy is COVID-19.
Prime Minister Mitchell said that Grenadians failed to acknowledge the reality of the situation, and returning nationals failed to adhere to self-quarantine rules issued on numerous occasions.
To recommend the declaration of a limited state of emergency in order to give the medical authorities the necessary mechanism by which we can enforce the stemming of the community spread of COVID-19 virus. In this regard, therefore, I'm asking the Governor General to declare a limited state of emergency in Grenada, Carriacou, and P.T. Martinique for the next 21 days. This will take effect from 6 p.m. today and will put a limit on the wide range of normal activities. Citizens will be allowed between the hours of 5 a.m. and 7 p.m. every day to leave their homes only to conduct certain designated activities.
Prime Minister Mitchell said the new declaration is not meant to punish anyone, but instead designed to ensure COVID-19 does as little damage as possible to the Grenadian people and the Grenadian economy. The Grenadian leader said the nation will be called on to pray, with religious leaders given the mantle to decide how this will be done. Cherry and Blackman Stephen, GBN News.
It was midday on Sunday when health officials announced that the state of Grenada had one confirmed case of the dreaded COVID-19 coronavirus. At 1 p.m. on Thursday, the health officials again returned to deliver the unfortunate news that 6 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed, all but one affiliated to the first COVID-19 patient returning from the United Kingdom 2 weeks ago. But Sherry Ann Blackman-Stephen has more.
Grenada confirmed 6 new cases of COVID-19 coronavirus on Thursday, bringing the country's total to 7. Health Minister Nicholas Steele disclosed this information during an emergency press conference at 1:30 p.m.
Today I announced today that Thursday, March 26, 2020, Grenada records 6 other laboratory confirmed cases of COVID-19. Among the 6 cases are persons who came in some form of contact with our first recorded case that we announced on Sunday. The 6 new cases are in isolation and are being monitored by health officials. The ministry continues with aggressive contact tracing in an effort to ascertain and mitigate further spread of the virus. I also must report that at least one of these new cases is imported and was on the same flight within a 6-foot radius of patient 0, our original case. The other cases are from the same household as patient 0.
The confirmed cases of COVID-19 are 1 male and 6 females. Minister Steele said the medical team has been actively following up and engaging in contact tracing and is already moving to isolate and monitor several others who were in close contact with any of these new cases. He said this will continue for the next 14 days at least. He said the persons are all exhibiting mild symptoms at this time. The minister's statement that the isolated family members remain in their home did not sit well with people monitoring the conference via local television and social media. However, COVID-19 response coordinator Dr. George Mitchell said the patients are being monitored.
We are absolutely confident that the case that we first identified has been following the mandate or advice to stay at home, and the others we are sure have been doing the same. The new case that the other case that we just found out is going to be subjected to the same mandatory quarantine as was mentioned before, and the structures are going to ensure that they also be monitored in a very, very effective manner.
Minister Steele said government already reported these 6 new cases to the World Health Organization, the WHO, and the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO. He is reminding Grenadians that if we all do our part, we will be able to win the battle against this deadly disease. In attendance at the press conference were Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Francis Martin and epidemiologist Dr. Sean Charles. Cherry and Blackman Stephen, GBN News.
Vendors at the St. George's Market Square are outraged as they were asked by police on Thursday to pack up and go home. They are now seeking answers from the relevant authorities as to who will compensate them for the loss of their goods that will soon perish. GBN was on hand to listen in to their concerns, as we now hear.
Following the implementation of government's emergency regulations to stop the spread of COVID-19, vendors at the St. George's Market say today they were ordered by police to stop selling their goods. The statutory rules put in place include a list of non-essential establishments or businesses that will be allowed to operate. One of the regulations stipulates that wholesale or retail grocery stores and commercial bakers will operate from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. The list of regulations did not specifically name vendors. Now the vendors say they are angry and confused as to where they fall under the regulations. In the meantime, they believe they should be given time to sell out their perishable goods. Dale Lewis says she interpreted what the Prime Minister said to mean she has the right to operate between the hours 5 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And this morning, the police tell me I have to move. I sell perishable goods. When I move, what I do with the goods? Who will compensate me for the lost goods I have? And I'm a trader, and tomorrow I have goods coming in. What should I do? You understand? I feel it should try to amend the statement and leave room for self-employed people like me vending in the market and are selling perishable goods.
I really trying to get that clear, especially for the vendors who have the perishables and trying to push it out. We want to know exactly what to do because I don't get that clear. I'm being confused right now.
This vendor says she has already invested $900 in potatoes.
My issue is I sell perishable goods, as you could see I have about bags of potatoes line here. So my concern is, what will I do with the potato? The supermarket is open to sell their goods. We have perishable goods. I think that they should give us over the weekend to sell out what we have and then lock down from next week. That is my concern. I have 9 children and I have to take care of my children. That is what I do to make $1. So when the goods spoil, who is going to pay me for it?
While addressing vendors' concerns, Acting Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin indicated that persons should remain mindful of what they are trying to achieve through the implementation of the limited state of emergency, an issue of social distancing, and not defeat the purpose.
I think it has been taken on board that the issue in how we treat with vendors, in whether or not they can or cannot in some way be facilitated in order to be able to apply their trade while not affecting the general intention of this initiative has to be looked at. But in the meantime, and until such time, we need to maintain what is there until we have greater clarity on how to treat with those issues.
Christelina John.
And the state of emergency regulations that go for the next 2.5 weeks made provision for retail grocery stores and commercial bakeries to operate from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, with the setup of the St. George's Market Square, social distancing is near impossible. And for now, the facility is closed.
Attorney General Darshan Ramdani says in drafting regulations to be followed during Grenada's state of emergency, government did consider the livelihood of fruit and vegetable vendors, especially those who operate within the St. George's Market Square. Since the announcement of the state of emergency on Wednesday, 5 hours before the regulations took effect, vendors have expressed their concern about how they would be able to sell their produce, specifically perishable items.
I sell perishable goods. When I move, what I do with the goods?
I think that they should give us over the weekend to sell out what we have and then lock down from next week.
AG Ramdani says the issue will be revised as time goes on.
As the regulations are presently drafted, there is no provision that actually allows the market, as we know it in St. George's, in Grenville, in St. to continue to operate. But again, the Commissioner of Police is likely to consider exceptions in relation to perhaps having people remain in the communities where they are, in the villages where they are, so that they can sell their produce. When I came off this morning, I had discussions in relation to this matter because I understand that this is a matter that causes considerable anxiety for that community that earn their livelihood through the market. I understand that the government is very conscious of this and it engaged the government attention over the last couple of days.
He notes, however, that the regulations are not meant to punish anyone, but it's an effort to reduce the instance of face-to-face contact as much as possible as a measure to curb the instance of spreading COVID-19.
The entire purpose of these regulations is to minimize human contact, is to minimize the opportunity for the spread of the virus, is to avoid crowds. And where is the more likely place you see crowds and gatherings and congregation and congestion? In the marketplaces. So yes, as they are drafted right now, the marketplace as it operates generally will not be allowed to operate. I know the government is revisiting this matter. We are looking at it, and I would suggest that persons can sell within the communities they are, so the produce will not spoil. And we are looking at this actively. Their livelihoods are being affected by this, some more than others, and we understand that, and we are prepared to address this on an hourly basis, if necessary, on a daily basis, but in a timely manner as best, and I need to say this, as best as we can to address these issues.
Blossom Alexis-Welsh, GBN News.
As the weekend review continues, we find that one bus operator was charged on Thursday for overloading. This after the statutory rules and orders were declared. During the Royal Grenada Police Force's press conference, Acting Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin said that they will be strengthening their efforts in addressing this and other issues of stubbornness. Christina John has more.
Statutory Rule Number 13, which deals with public transportation, states, no person shall offer for hire or seek to travel on any motor omnibus unless there is or would be not more than one passenger per row in the motor omnibus in a staggered formation. As of today, Thursday, March 26, some drivers have withheld their services. Compared to a regular day, this can be considered an empty bus terminus in the capital. As a result of access to less public transportation, some persons are likely to be stranded and to run into curfew hours. The acting commissioner explained that with proper explanation, some exceptions are likely.
And our officers have been briefed to make sure that they do a proper evaluation of those circumstances and exercise discretion in enforcing that. But certainly, there is a timeline in which that will stop. And we believe at the moment, a realistic time is about 9 p.m. So we have a more flexible enforcement situationally where the persons can properly account. And we will have a light enforcement to allow persons a chance to be able to get home. But that approach in dealing with curfew will significantly increase from around 9 p.m.
With one busman charged today for overloading, this operator who plies the St. David route is saying it's not profitable to run his bus from Grenville to St. George's with little to no passengers. He too is looking to pull his service.
No money, you go drive a bus from Grenville to town with what, 5 people? You go all the way in town with 5 people. And then when you reach in the terminal, they write you down and they take out $2 outside. That ain't making sense. We understand, yes, and everybody trying to keep a clean thing in terms of we avoiding the coronavirus from spreading. But on the bus, where you keep your hands clean, we know the coronavirus spread from sneezing and other things as they say. I don't think that should handbug the system in terms of people coming in bus. No bus running, I'm the only man on the road, I don't think I stay in.
With last evening being the first for the curfew, the police had reported that there was no major challenges. Having done so with minimum resources, he was impressed.
Evening, we were not up to full strength by mobilizing our entire staff, and so the security rollout was partial. But I think the support and response from the community in adhering to the issue of curfew and timings was impressive. Tonight, that will certainly improve to a very significant level, and that will be witnessed by one and all.
Christina John, GBN News.
They say sometimes less is more, but at Real Value IGA Supermarket, we believe more is more. And since we are all about more, we want to buy more from farmers like you so we can sell more to our customers. If you have a farmer's ID and fresh produce to sell, Real Value IGA wants to buy.
For more information, contact Real Value IGA on WhatsApp at 405-4405 or give them a call at 439-2121.
Total is one of the world's largest oil companies with a top quality line of lubricants. Total Lubricants has a full product line from passenger cars, motorcycle, heavy industrial equipment, mining, trucking, agriculture, and manufacturing machines and vehicles. Total Lubricants, winning championships in motorsports, including Formula One and World Rally Championships. Total Lubricants are available at all Rubis service stations, leading automotive shops, and distributed by Huggins.
Heritage Theatre Company and the cast of the historical drama Julian Fedor wish to advise of the postponement of this production, which was previously scheduled for 28th and 29th of March, as well as the 4th and 5th of April.
This postponement is due to the recently announced measures by Grenada's public health authorities in response to the threat of coronavirus.
Heritage Theatre is fully supportive of these measures and encourages all patrons, as well as the general public, to fully comply with them.
As well as with other advice given by the Ministry of Health and official bodies like the World Health Organization on steps to be taken to keep the nation safe.
These measures include the following. First of all, do not panic. Avoid large crowds and wash hands regularly with soap and water.
Please pay special attention to how you interact with the elderly and other vulnerable persons. Try to resist touching your face, and most of all, treat yourself as if you have the virus and want to avoid passing it on to anyone else.
We eagerly look forward to staging the play once we're given the green light to do so. Meanwhile, we ask patrons, hold on to your tickets as they will be honored when the play is staged.
We would like to take this opportunity to thank all our sponsors, including our title sponsors, the Grenada Broadcasting Network and the Grenada Cooperative Bank, as well as those who have collaborated with us thus far in the preparation of this production.
We thank you, our patrons, for your understanding and continued support.
Let us work together to overcome this challenge.
It's detox time again at Nirvana Natural Health Clinic Detox Center. The festive season is over, so let's start 2020 looking and feeling like a boss with our many body cleansing options. Purchase detox products as low as $50. Purchase detox combo packs as low as $100. Receive 10% off on all in-house colonic irrigation treatment. Take control of your health now. Don't delay. Call us on 231-6642, 418-7115, or 449-7753. We are located in Belmont St. George's, close to the Fall Edge area. These offers are valid from January to March or while stocks last. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic Detox Center. Detox your way to health.
Conveniently located in the Grand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenada will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. It's 16 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. Before I get into the program, just want to say a happy birthday to Francis in New York, coming from your only brother, Roy T. He wants you to have a very good day today. All right, this morning, I've received a few messages asking about the regulations or the curfew, the mandatory curfew as highlighted by Minister of Health Nicholas Steele yesterday. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to repeat the address that was broadcast last night. At this point, I want to welcome the folks joining us on our sister station, Hot 98. Good morning to you. Thank you to Graphics for ensuring that the listeners of the sister station are also kept abreast with what is happening. So right now, we're going to replay the national address from yesterday by Minister of Health, Honorable Nicholas Steele. And when we come back, we're going to invite some of your phone calls to get your thoughts on the new stipulations that have been highlighted. So let's now go to the address by Minister of Health, Nicholas Steele.
The following is an address to the nation by the Honorable Nicholas Steele, Minister for Health, Social Security, and International Business.
Good evening, fellow citizens. Only a few short days ago, the Prime Minister and Minister of National Security addressed you, urging you, the beloved people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, to work with us so that we have a shot at winning the deadly battle against COVID-19. We all recalled when the Prime Minister invoked those vivid, heart-wrenching images of dead bodies and sick people lining corridors from China to Italy to Spain to Iran and elsewhere around the world. In some of the most developed countries around the world, we have watched together as healthcare systems have reached their breaking point, with this disease wreaking havoc on resources. I am sure you have seen the infestation centers that are now the United Kingdom and the United States, our two biggest Grenadian diaspora communities, and from which all of our cases so far have originated. In major countries of the world, streets are deserted, playing fields are abandoned, business places are shut down, neighbors are in lockdown. Here in the state of Grenada, we closed our borders to the rest of the world a week ago. We subsequently announced our first case. The Prime Minister and Minister of National Security immediately went further and recommended that the Governor General to declare a limited state of emergency in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This was designed to convey to you the seriousness of the health threat we now face. A day later, 6 more cases were diagnosed. As Health Minister, my team and I have begged you to stay indoors, observe social distancing, wash your hands frequently, do not touch your eyes, nose, and mouth with unclean hands. Furthermore, cover your nose and mouth when you sneeze or cough. Above all, we sounded the one foolproof measure. Practical or practice social distancing. Sadly, many have not heard us. Many have ignored us. What is more alarming, they have ignored the medical experts and they have seemingly blocked out the gruesome images of the impact of this virus that they have seen around the world. Those images alone should have been enough to show you how very dire the situation is, and that we are not to take the chances that many of you continue to take. Sisters and brothers, our most important roles in government are to listen to our people and to protect our nation. This is why the Prime Minister and Minister of National Security is acting aggressively and decisively. The security of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique is compromised. Our security is compromised in a way that it has never been before. Lives are at stake. Your life is at stake. Your grandmother's life is at stake. Your father's life is under threat. My life and that of my family are under threat. So is my neighbor's. Whole families stand to be wiped out. From the halls of the palace to the seat of the Prime Minister to the village slums, COVID-19 has shown that it respects no one. And every time you venture outside of your house, you put yourself and others at risk. Every time you leave your house, you are in danger of getting infected or killed. Every time you break or ignore guidelines to quarantine when you have been exposed, you are potentially taking the life of one of our citizens. Maybe you are prepared to take that gamble, but unfortunately, it's not only to your detriment, you are endangering the lives of each of us. The Prime Minister said before, and I repeat tonight, our administration is not in the business of gambling. We are not in the business of taking lives. Everything else pales in comparison to the health and well-being of a nation. This is not about economics. This is about saving lives. This is about public health, public safety, and public order. To that end, the beach parties end. The bar gatherings and boat parties end. The crowded buses will be parked up. Everything that puts our lives and our livelihood at risk ends. Fellow citizens, as a result of the inability of some of us to follow the guidelines designed to keep you safe, the government is now revisiting the measures from last week with a view to escalating them. This will give our medical authorities the necessary mechanism to contain the very real possibility of a community spread of this COVID-19 virus. It will also ensure that there is proper maintenance of supplies and services. In this regard, therefore, a mandatory curfew will be imposed beginning tomorrow at 7 p.m. and will continue until the 6th of April. During this period, every person shall remain confined to their place of residence, inclusive of their yard space, to avoid contact outside of their households, and except to provide in the regulations or as may be authorized in writing by the Commissioner of Police. This means that you are not permitted to go to the beach, go for a walk, or visit your neighbor. You are only to leave for food or medical emergency. And grocery stores and shops will be open, but only on specified days. The days and the stores will be published and announced through GIS and media houses tomorrow by 10 a.m. All regulations announced last week are intact, except for the following. Every establishment or business shall remain closed, including restaurants and gas stations, from 7 p.m. tomorrow. Shops which sell groceries, grocery stores, and supermarkets in each parish will be open for business between 8 a.m. p.m. and 12 noon on select days specified by the Commissioner of Police. Essential movement for travel for shops which sell groceries, grocery stores, and supermarkets. One person from each household shall be allowed to leave their residence once during a grocery day to attend shops which sell groceries. Grocery stores and/or supermarkets in their own parish and their own parish only. Any vehicle used during this period for this purpose, where the vehicle is an omnibus, shall carry one person in every row of seat, and where the vehicle is a car, shall only carry one person other than the driver. There shall be no for-hire vehicles used for this purpose. Workers at such shops which sell groceries or grocery stores or supermarkets shall be entitled to leave their homes for work on those specified days. The relevant employers shall provide transport for each such employee. There shall be no more than one person in any row of any seat in any of the vehicles provided for staff. Suppliers who are approved by the Commissioner of Police will be allowed to work to supply shops which sell groceries, grocery stores on the days that those shops and grocery stores and supermarkets are open in accordance to the permission given by the Commissioner of Police. There shall be no sale and consumption of alcohol in or in the vicinity of any grocery store or supermarket in any public place. If the manager, owner, or other person in charge of any shop which sells groceries, a grocery store, or a supermarket, or any employee of any of these entities aids, abets, or facilitates the breach of any regulation without prejudice to any other penalty in law, the shop, grocery store, or supermarket will be immediately closed. Hotels are to remain open, excluding any spas, gyms, restaurants, and discotheques therein, and, however, such restaurants may only offer room service. And where a hotel remains open, the staff shall remain on the premises for the duration of the period under regulation. Hotel employers shall bear the cost of board and lodging for such staff members. Brothers and sisters, I am confident that if we all do our part for the next 7 days, in the first instance, we will see the COVID-19 tide changing in our Tri-Island state. I thank you, and may God bless us all.
The preceding was an address to the nation by the Honorable Nicholas Steele, Minister for Health, Social Security, and International Business.
That was the national address by Minister of Health, Nicholas Steele. At this point, we're going to take a break. I want to thank the listeners of Hot 98 for tuning in. We want to ensure that everyone is aware of what is taking place. Graphics, thank you once again for ensuring your listeners are well informed. Have a good one to the folks over at Hot 98. Those of you on Classic, we're going to take a quick break and come back inside, and then just for about half an hour, we're going to discuss what has been highlighted by the Minister of Health in the national address. This is Good Morning Grenada. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
Why not stay in, turn off the alarm clock, and sleep some more on your perfect mattress from Quartz? For the widest range of mattresses from the world's best brands, the best value guaranteed. Shop today and let our sleep experts help you to decide on the best option to suit your needs. At Quartz, we don't just sell mattresses, we're offering you the best night's sleep. So, sleep in a little on your new mattress from Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
Total is one of the world's largest oil companies with a top quality line of lubricants. Total Lubricants has a full product line from passenger cars, motorcycle, heavy industrial equipment, mining, trucking, agriculture, and manufacturing machines and vehicles. Total Lubricants, winning championships in motorsports, including Formula One and World Rally Championships. Total Lubricants are available at all Rubis service stations, leading automotive shops, and distributed by Huggins.
Whenever we're faced with difficulties, we find comfort in those we know and trust. This is especially true when a loved one has died.
Welcome to Otway Bailey Funeral Home.
For over 100 years, Otway Bailey Funeral Home has helped families celebrate the lives of their loved ones with compassion and dignity. Our affordability, attention to detail, warm and caring staff has contributed us being the funeral home of choice for official and state funerals. We treat you as we would treat our own family. All of our services are designed to help you get through one of the most personal and challenging stages of life, whether it's planning a funeral, joining our burial society, or pre-arrangements. You can be assured of the Otway Bailey commitment to consistently provide the most caring and professional service possible with the best options and price. So call us 440-2558 or visit our website, otwaybaileyfuneralhome.org.
At Otway Bailey, we offer the perfect tribute any family can afford.
I'm reaching my dreams with GOT. They're the ones for me. I'm reaching my dreams with GOT. They're the ones for me. Since 1983, they've been serving the country, and we like all their financing, giving the people what they want, what they need, what they love. Come and join the family that's here for you all the way, from birth to graduation, your first job to your home, and your car through your golden years.
The GT Credit Union has been actively supporting nation building through its many sponsorships and the programs including financial literacy quiz, Pass the Torch Calypso program, junior cooperatives in secondary schools, CPEA, and the TAMCC grants. The credit union has helped many people make their dreams come true. Let them help you with yours. You don't have to be a teacher to be a member. So what are you waiting for?
GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
Stormboard careless or intentional bushfires, dead out. Youths, hunters, smokers, let's prevent bushfires. Here's why.
Yeah, bushfires. The shoreline's wet, crops should be bushfires. Can't eat the food, scarcity, threatened biodiversity, cause water shortage, water calamity. Bushfires, and watersheds deplete, water quality, threaten property, life and security. Bushfires set intentionally, water insanity.
Bushfires can cost millions in losses annually and are often caused by careless or intentional actions indictable under the law. Forests are life-giving. Save them. A message from the Fire Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force and the Caribbean Open Trade Support.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. 26 and a half minutes on to the hour of 8 o'clock. Right now it's topic of the day, and the topic of the day is the national address by Minister of Health Honorable Nicholas Steele yesterday, as he highlighted mandatory curfew effective 7 p.m. this evening for the whole of the state of Grenada. What's your thoughts on that? 435-2041 as Grenada continues to battle and fight against the spread of COVID-19. The phone is ringing. Let's see who's on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
God bless you all.
Thank you.
Now, you know, I'm very grateful for these law and measures that are taking place right now, and that it is implemented. It is not man that is doing these things. This is a time and season we're living in, which is God's time. And law and order comes from Him. He put up men there, and is He to give them the wisdom to implement measures. I thank God for that. And I wait to God that mankind seek to look upon God, turn their life to God, take heed to wisdom, and carry it about, because that's the only way we could be saved, through God and ruling and taking over and doing his thing. So God bless us all, and may God be with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. 435-2041. What's your take on the mandatory curfew? Let me see what's on the WhatsApp. Somebody says it's really sad in a time like this where we as a people should be working with the government to keep the country safe. We are putting our lives in and others in danger. It's like they want someone to die before they get serious. Another comment on WhatsApp says, I feel very hurt and disappointed that the minister should spend so much time blaming Grenadians when they could have prevented this by heeding the pleas of Grenadians to close the ports before the first case. He should have just got to the point about the increased measures. The emphasis on the blame was much too much. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I am very, very concerned. I am pleased that it has shut down. But on this speech last night and the repeat this morning, nothing was said about banks. Now, I am an elderly person, and I go to the bank twice a month. I have to. And I intended to go tomorrow morning. What is the situation? Because it's not a matter of can I get somebody. I have to go in person, and I need to know what do I do. I live on my own, as I said. I drive to the bank and I come back. What do I do? Thank you.
Thank you, caller. As said by the minister, all of the regulations remain in effect, or they remain the same, except the curfew is no longer from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. It's a 24-hour curfew, which means the banks shall remain open, and most, if not all, of what has been termed essential services are still in operations. Any new regulations in terms of opening hours would be issued by 10 a.m. today, according to the minister. And it will be distributed to media houses. Therefore, the information will be disseminated, whether it's via newscasts or radio broadcast, like right here on Classic. I know there would be new hours and days of operations for supermarkets. It will be left to be seen if that would also apply to banks. But banks are considered to be part of the essential services group of operations. So if there are changes in that light, it would be disseminated hopefully by 10 a.m. today, according to the minister. But for now, everything else that were highlighted last week remain the same, except the curfew is not just for a few hours, it's for 24 hours. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you this morning?
I'm good.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying I'm support the minister and the government 100%. Grenadians has no sense. I mean, it's for their own good. It's for my good. You goes out, you catch the virus, you come home, your whole family's been wiped out. I mean, why Grenadians so, I don't know what to put it. They just have, they have no culture, they have no sense. Anyway, I'm home, and my whole family is completely home. So, who wants to go? That's their problem, but I'm home. Have a good day, Miss Foster.
Thank you, caller. Yes, you stay home. If everybody does what they need to do, then COVID won't have any choice but to gather his troops and go. But if we continue to help COVID spread itself, then the longer it takes for us to do what has been asked of us, meaning to stay home and continue to do the things to stop the spread, the sooner we do that, the sooner COVID goes. But the more we delay the proper measures that need to take place, is the longer COVID stays. I mean, that's common sense to me, but I guess common sense is really not as common as they say. Let me check the WhatsApp. The government needs to step up the tension and pressure more, stiffer penalties too. I saw a video circulating on social media over the weekend of some officers cracking down on some people who were liming in a community. I was not able to identify which community, but the fact that they're cracking down on that means that they have stepped up on their surveillance and patrolling, and I hope they continue to do so. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. There's some points here. I want drivers to understand that when the Prime Minister first made his address, he talked about passengers. Now we talk about persons. So that means if a bus is traveling, every row of seats is supposed to have one person and not a passenger. It's different now. Two, I'm also calling on officers, police officers, to do what they have to, because sometimes we tend to be, we see things and we just pass by with a blind eye. But we have a work to do. Now, it's from 7 this evening, it's shut down. You cannot afford to see persons engage in whatever. And just passing by, especially police transport, marked police transport, we have to do better than that. One other thing. I don't know if it's God permit this to be happening, but, we tend to promote all sort of things that is not godly. And we get it from government sometimes. Now, I hear the Prime Minister is calling on churches to take the lead. We have to remember that God says certain things in His Word, and we have to adhere to them. We cannot be thinking about a nation if we take certain measures, a nation wouldn't support us. The biggest supporter of our country is God, and I'm thinking about men, married men, and this kind of thing on them. We have to stand up and say, look, we have to stop that, because you can be using God conveniently. When it suits you, you want God protection, and then you don't even bother about His Word. It's important for us. We have to know this thing is wrong, and no matter who say, the Bible says it's wrong. And we, as a people, as a government, have to stand up against certain things so that we can be safe. Look how easy it is. Just a little virus, and the whole world is affected. Who gonna say no? They go help it. They want help for themselves. And yes, we're talking about if we take this decision, this nation wouldn't support us. God is our supporter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Let me go to the WhatsApp. I would like to know what still happens to vehicles that must be inspected by today. The RGPF, the Traffic Department of the RGPF, has advised that inspections have been postponed from today until further notice, which means those of you who have deadlines of tomorrow, God willing, the 31st, the vehicle, should I say it's still legal to be on the nation's road because of the suspension. And when the suspension is lifted, we would definitely let you know when you need to go and get your inspection done and your stickers, your new stickers. So for now, it has been postponed. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, why are the hotels remaining open? Why are hotels still open? If the airport is closed, why are there still visitors? What selling alcohol has to do with COVID-19? The hotels are still open because there are people who came into the island prior to the locking down of the country, whether it was on vacation or to, vacation. And they are still in the island and they still need somewhere to rest their weary heads until the airports are reopened. So the airports were closed last week. That was just a week ago. So prior to that, we still had people coming in. What selling alcohol has to do with COVID-19? There are a few shop proprietors who remain open and allow people to come in and purchase their drinks and sit and have a time, as well as when you are going out to buy your alcohol, you might just drink and sit down somewhere and sleep or throw yourself in a drain. Or we're trying to avoid that. So don't drink alcohol. You're not in your right thinking head according to how much alcohol you drink. So let's avoid any doubt and just lock it off. That's how I see it. Let me go back by the phone lines. Good morning. The topic of the day, the Minister of National Security and Health address last night. Good morning.
The Minister of National Security.
Good morning.
Address last night. Good morning. Minister of National.
Hello.
Good morning. Address last.
Okay, that person is not as ready as I would like them to be. Good morning. I believe in what the minister said. 100. Our head is too hard. Maybe that elderly woman doesn't understand. You should tell her to go to the bank today. I agree. Go to the banks today to avoid anything that may happen. The 24-hour lockdown is in effect for a week. You say you go to the bank twice a month. So if you go today, you may not need to go to the bank again until the next maybe 2 weeks. By then, hopefully Grenadians might start to listen and the lockdown would be lifted somewhat. But I suggest, like the writer says, go to the bank today just in case. Those of you who need to fill up your gas tanks, do so today as well. Gas stations will also be closed. Right. Let me see. Let me go back by the phone lines. Good morning.
Morning, Blossom.
Good morning.
Blossom, we Grenadians, we too hard. And we need to, I don't know if it's a rap behind our head, we want to put sense in our head, but we too hard. Look where ministers still stay in Fort Judy. I went on the beach in Fort Judy because I have to go with my husband to do therapy on the beach. And there was a party on the beach, people cooking out on the beach. What shoppiness is that? What dotishness is that? You disrespecting the minister? He could stay in the house and look back on Fort Judy Beach. So that come like when they put a no parking sign and people parking on it. We like to disrespect authorities too much. So whatsoever they do to us, we deserve it. Right? Thank you.
I agree. Whatever happens, we deserve it. In addition, there was also a session that I understand the police broke up on Hog Island over the weekend. There are still neighborhood cookouts. Over the weekend, I saw pictures of St. George's proper, in front of the terminal. I saw photos of Grenville, and the streets were clean. So that I was happy to see. But I don't think that was a problem. I think the problem is community gatherings, community fetes and cooks and liming by the shops. So once we close the shops, as the person was asking about alcohol, once we close the shops, they have nowhere to go. Hopefully they'll stay home this time around. It's not, like I said this morning, this is not a game. This is not a drill. It's serious matters going on in the dance. And if you're not concerned about your own health, think about the others who you may pass on this virus to. You don't know who have it and who doesn't have it. People have been saying COVID-19 has been in Grenada since last October. We don't know who have it, who inhabit, who just get it, who get it already and about to get it again. We don't know these things. So to save yourself from uncertainty, stay home, you alone, or you and the family. You don't know what Peter have. So you stay home just in case. If there's a Peter out there, I apologize. That's the name that came to my head, okay? Good morning.
Morning, Blossom. Morning. Yeah, there are a lot of Peters over there, but you don't know which one you're talking about.
Exactly.
Blossom, I don't know. I've been listening to what the Minister of Health have been saying from the beginning. And personally, I think if we say, okay, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, go to the bank, do all your shopping, get things that could last you for 2 or 3 weeks. They said 21 days, make sure you have things that would last your household for 21 days and shut down the supermarkets and the shops. Because as long as they are open, people will go. And you go there and people just milling around as if nothing is going on. You know, sometimes they go in the supermarket, they draw some lines where you should stand up. People just closing up. So, you know, some people don't see it as serious. So I think they should just give people a few days, say from maybe from Monday to Wednesday. Stock up on what you have and shut down the supermarkets and the shops and those places. This is, to me, how every people will recognize, look, you go in there, you see people as if nothing happened, and they're leaving home every day and they go in as if it's normal. So, and then that gentleman that spoke about we not obeying God and sort of thing, I want to agree with this gentleman, because it's only when trouble comes, a lot of us jump up and talk about God. Especially, let me don't go that way, because something I was going to say, you know, we're now asking churches to pray. We didn't know churches needed to be praying before. But now this come, we're asking the religious leaders to do this and to do that. We should know God is so, because God has been speaking for years and nobody paid heed. And this COVID virus, whether it's God allow it or, well, God may have allowed it, he could stop it if he wanted to, could have stopped it. But you see, we have to get some pestilence according to the word of God in the last days. So this is one of the pestilence, and you know, it's not just a country, it's the globe, the whole world. And I believe there is something to come out from that based on things that I'm reading from Prophecy News Watch and all these things that I'm reading that the globalists is saying, what some of the scientists are saying, and what some of the people who call themselves the elite, I don't know what is this elite, it has something to do with the New World Order people. They just clamoring now for the one world government. So when we see that, you know where we are going. So people need now not talk about only COVID, talk about the soul. The soul need to be saved because people are going to die, they're dying, and they're going to a lost eternity. So people need to know this is a time to seek the face of God. Okay. Remember, your soul has to be saved.
All right.
Okay, dear. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too. Let me go by the Facebook. What about the officers in the Inland Revenue? The officers or the offices? Up to last Friday, Inland Revenue was still operating. They have a number system. You'll get a number according to when you come to the building. Secure, as we call them, sprays your hand with spirits or spirits or hand sanitizer to ensure that you are at least cleansed with what you're touching when you get into the IRD. I am not sure if they would be shut down completely when the curfew takes effect. And for those of you who have these questions, I am expecting to speak with Dr. Francis Martin, the Acting Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health, in this morning's To The Point program via Skype. That program takes place 9 to 10, so be sure to tune in with these questions about exactly what would be affected and so on and so forth. Good morning. I welcome the action the government has taken. This is very, very real and serious. People are dying in numbers. I live in New York and hospitals are overcrowded and the death toll keeps rising by the hours. Grenadians, please treat this virus like you have it and not trying to spread it to your family members. Exactly. Treat the virus like you and everybody else has it. Or treat it like everybody have it and you don't want it. Treat it like everybody have it and you don't want it. Maybe that will make you stay away from people. What about geriatric care? How will the elderly people at home alone will make it with the curfew? Are there anything in place for their caretakers to visit them? That question was asked last week of the AG, and he did point out that provisions will be made, but we'll clarify with Dr. Martin To The Point this morning. It is the responsibility of the churches to pray for sinners. My fellow Christian brothers and sisters are posing me off during these times. I'm sure he's posing. I don't think he's posing, Camille. What about people who don't have food at all? Would y'all leave them to die? All that fig tree and fruit trees you have about the place? Nah, man. Nope. Oh, and Miss Jeremiah, leave it to Wednesday to get things to... We had enough time to stock up, groceries to be made and so on. Why we like to wait until last minute? Since last week I made a little groceries. I need to get one or two little things today to increase what I already have. But Wednesday is too long. We gave you all our in charity and all abuse it. Good morning. I am in support of the steps taken by the administration, but I have a problem with the self-quarantine process. I think the administration should take the role of quarantine, or should the role of quarantine the people with the viruses themselves in a special place or building, and I think we will be able to see the results we're looking for. Somebody suggested, let me not say that on air. Lord, next thing I'll cause problems in the dance. Never mind. Good morning. I welcome the lockdown. People are not listening and causing the police officers to risk their lives. I am still wondering why the police vehicles are full to capacity and the police barracks are also full to capacity. Where with social distancing and all this, police are not invincible. Point taken. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There are certain people in certain areas or communities that are still disobeying orders, and when they put it down, they decide to do their own thing because maybe they tell themselves they control the areas. The police need to find out these people, get to know information of them, and check up on them because they're really disobeying orders and continue doing things that the people say don't do. They need to get these areas' names and get in it and step up on these people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. What members of the public can do as well is to report these instances of community fetes. And I'm calling them fete. I know fete is a stretch, but community gatherings. If you see people lining by the shop having a little cook, wherever it is, call the police, the nearest police station, police emergency 911, and report them. Because I don't think they would listen until the cuffs are on, maybe, or until police come through with a baton. I've seen videos in countries, I think, where that was, boy, was it in Italy? Where people are disobeying the curfew and the police officers, we don't ask a question, is blows. They have sticks and batons, just pelting blows on whoever outside. What you doing outside? Beat them like liquor churn because they're behaving like liquor churn. The RGPF has not instituted that yet. But Blossom Rob and Alexis-Welsh will endorse some blows pelting because we had too hard. Anybody outside mean they're looking for some stringent measures, and maybe that's what they need. 2 lasher baton to send them home limping. Okay, maybe limping is a stretch, but I mean, these are not ordinary times and we need extra measures for the hard-headed ones. Maybe this is something that RGPF should look into. Yes, I've seen it, with no apology too. Question, my job as a caretaker for an elderly citizen from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. What should I do? Because I cannot stay longer than those times because I have a family to take care of. We would address this with Dr. Martin about what I guess you need to have proper. Actually, you're maybe considered a healthcare worker. So once you have proper identification and you could explain why you're on the roads at 5:01 a.m., then hopefully everything will be fine. But we'll clear it with Dr. Martin this morning. Good morning. I have been waiting for gas for 1 week now, still without it. When I called last Friday, I was told that there are many orders inside and additional transport was being sought for delivery. Will consideration be given to allow Huggins to deliver before some people starve? We would verify that as well. Maybe the cooking gas company should start to regulate how they sell the gas, like it's done in Carriacou. I know Carriacou had, I think you could only purchase, was it 2 or 3 at a time? Maybe we should try that here because people have been stockpiling gas too. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm calling for the program.
Yes, you're on the program. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I'm 100% with what the government is doing and the measures that they take, but I have a concern. In the outer world, you hear about people who the government they have a system where they have a food bank for people who can't afford. And in Grenada here, we have a system here where, there's a lot of people who just can't afford to buy certain things or to get certain things. And none of us know exactly how long this thing is going to go on for. Are we considering, are the government taking into consideration to put together some sort of a food bank according to what is happening in the outer world, where people could call in and let the government or let the people in authority, they know that, they don't have nothing to eat, and it could be delivered to them. Because if this thing go on for as long as I think it may go on, a lot of people are going to starve to death in Grenada. So that's something we need to take into consideration, having a system where people could call in and then they could even investigate them and supply the necessity, what they need to keep going until this thing comes to pass. Because a lot of people in Grenada are going to die because they have nothing to eat if they can't come out. And they don't have no money to spend because nothing is happening. So that could be taken into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. I know there are a lot of vulnerable people around the island, and they are all within specific government-funded programs. And up to, was it last week? I know some of the programs are still distributing funds and whatever else that the program allows. I have not heard of anything as it relates to as you put it, a food bank or anything, but we can verify with Dr. Martin. It is 30 seconds to the hour of 8 o'clock. It's time we join the BBC for the 8 a.m. newscast, but the discussion on COVID-19 coronavirus continues from 9 to 10 a.m. this morning on To The Point, where we are expecting to speak with Acting Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Francis Martin. So keep it locked right here to Classic as we continue to be your information center for all information. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to Good Morning Grenada. Stick and stay 105.5, 105.9, GBN channel 7, 11, and 20. Those of you leaving us, have yourselves a good day. Continue to be healthy. Continue to do what you need to do to stay COVID free.
Has reported a surge in cases amid fears that a lack of testing